Great. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight for the virtual hearing of the Fall River Historical Commission. The hearing is being produced and recorded via Zoom and will be made available on YouTube on Fall River Government TV's YouTube channel as well. The time is now, it is Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. It is 6 o'clock p.m. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting and may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. May I get a roll call, please?
Connie Soul, present.
Rick Mancini, present.
Joyce Rodericks, present.
Elizabeth DeBlock, present.
And Jason Bouchard-Naraki, present via Zoom. We do have 2 open seats. I have sent a communication over to both the City Council and the Mayor's office because 2 of the seats, one will be has to be appointed by City Council, the other by the Mayor's office. The Mayor has forwarded a recommendation for the Commission. I did receive additional information from that because it's coming from the Mayor. He does not need recommendation from the Historical Commission. So that will be presented at the August 15th hearing for the City Council. And City Council is presenting tonight at the same time to basically to read the request that I have sent over for an additional appointee from City Council for the Historical Commission. So at least then we'll hopefully soon have a full board slate. So that's that. So that is that. So we have the minutes to review or to approve from July 6th, the special meeting that we had. Are there any questions or concerns on that? It was a relatively short meeting.
No, I'll make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes of July 6th, I'm sorry.
I'll second that motion.
All right, I have a motion by Rick and a second by Connie to approve the minutes from July 6th. I'm gonna get a roll call vote. Rick?
Yes.
Connie Soul?
Yes.
Joyce Rodericks?
Yes.
Elizabeth DeBlock?
Yes.
And Jason Bouchard-Naraki, yes. Okay, thank you. Any citizens input on the agenda? Don't have anyone? Okay. There were no notices of intent to demolish. I have received correspondence from Carrie for a few items. So the second item on the agenda, there was a issue with exterior shingle repair at 491 High Street. That is it is in the Highlands 40C. So a neighbor must have complained to or indicated to the building department that there was work going on without a permit or potentially without review from us. It was deemed that it was merely replacing shingles that had rotted on one of the facades, and it was the material was wood and basically replacing in kind. So it was not deemed to be reviewed by our commission. They did not have a permit, however, so they did file for a permit. So that even if it's a repair, the homeowner was made aware that they do need to file for a permit. The third item is number 39 Highland Avenue. The house is in the National Register District. It's a conversion of an interior attic space to finished storage space. I indicated to Carrie that it is out of our purview because it is in the National Register District. It's also within the house. It's not changing anything for that matter. So there wasn't anything for us to review. And the fourth item was number 603 Rock Street. This is a very complicated issue. This house is in the 40C. It's on the corner of Rock Street and Prospect Street. So a permit was issued. The house is owned by Deaconess Home. They were replacing the roof on, it's a very large gambrel, and it seems that they were replacing the roof on one side of the gambrel and not the other. They did come, or they did send a letter or an email to me back in, I think, March regarding repair of a small area in the far back part of the property from a storm damage. And that is outside of our review because it's repair from a storm. However, this was the whole side of the house that was being worked on. And the permit was issued because when the contractor went to go file the application, the permit, the address on file, or at least on our records, is 603 Rock Street. They could not find that on the city register, or at least the tax assessor. It's listed as 603 Prospect Street. It was a small little issue with that. I will have to update our records, or at least the database for that matter, to reflect the actual correct technical address for the house. I spoke with Eugene Borges on the matter. There was the material, they were replacing asphalt with asphalt. We don't have any, we can't review color of the material. I did go by, and it looks to be roughly the same as to what was there, at least, but I couldn't tell any drastic difference. But I did reach out to Maureen Philbin. She's the director of the Deaconess Home, regarding how that happened, at least, because we weren't made aware of it. But based on the technicality with the address being 603 Prospect instead of 603 Rock Street, I mean, that was on the building department for not bringing it up with us, but I'm not sure what else we can actually do with that.
When you say we don't say anything about the color, I thought in the 40C under the guidelines, it was supposed to be dark colored.
Part of the ordinance with roof color, it's the same thing with paint color. We can't approve or deny an application based on color. With the design guidelines, that's a little, it is a little different, because for example, when we reviewed Ruben's house at 528 High Street, he wanted to put a chimney cap. It is allowed. It just has to be a dark. It has to be a dark color. But it has to be either copper or, I think, black. But for roof color, as part of the ordinance, that color of roofing material is excluded from. We can't approve or deny an application based on roof color. Yeah, I'll have to look again, but I remember specifically that we can't deny something based on color.
I think we've made recommendations in the past. That's the reason why.
We have.
Yeah, we have.
Yep.
And so that's why I guess I'm a bit confused in the 40C anyways.
Okay. It does look similar to what they had on the roof before. I couldn't tell if they did the other side or not. I was away when this was all happening, but
Deaconess is also well aware that they're in the 40C district. They've had meetings with us on other issues, so they're well versed. And to bypass like that really doesn't appear constructive,
and
in my opinion, on their part to do
no,
that.
I think they were probably expecting to be have to go through a review with us, but their contractor was the one who filed the permit, and it wasn't Deaconess Home, and they filed it. I think the work was going on a Friday, and they filed for the work. It was just before the 4th of July weekend, I think. They filed the paperwork less than a week earlier. Or maybe it was that week of the 4th of July. I'm not 100% sure. I had to take a look at the paperwork, but it was the building department that slipped, and that they saw the address. It is flagged as in the 40C, but because on their end they're seeing 603 Prospect Street, and that's not an address that's listed on the 40C. So I
That's
mean that
interesting
was
because when they came before us for the small roof, the damage repair, they had the right address then.
correct. And I sent that letter. They supplied photos. I sent the letter over to Carrie and Hilda Moniz with the Deaconess Home, and indicated that was we were only it was restricted to that one small little area, and not the whole expanse of the rest of the roof.
Right.
I don't know why we weren't made aware of this beforehand, that they were going to replace the whole roof, but I will wait to hear from Maureen. I know she's traveling as well, so yeah.
Again, it just doesn't bode well. They're the owner. They hired the contractor. They give directions to the contractor. A contractor just doesn't get hired and you tell the contractor, do whatever you want to do to my property. You give them specific instructions.
Mhm. So,
you know, this blaming the building department is, you know, doesn't hold a lot of water, in my opinion. There's a lot of failings there that have occurred to get to that point. Again, it doesn't bode well for them to be doing that, and again, avoiding us. They've done it in the past, and they're continuing to do that.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I had just spoken to Maureen on a completely separate matter, like that day or the day earlier, regarding the windows over on High Street, because they're going for CPC funding for that. So once I hear from her, then I can invite them over to meet with us to find out what else they're going to be doing with the house, and just to remind them that things like that they need to come before us for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other questions on that matter? No. Let's see. For new business number 5, we have homeowner from 544 High Street, which is in the Highlands 40C. This property is adjacent to 528, which caught fire in, was it April 2022? So their house was damaged from the fire next door. So they are requesting a certificate of non-applicability. Oh my God, the word applicability. Sorry, for repairs caused from the fire next door. I believe we have Erin Leary.
Hi, yes, good evening. I tried to put video on. I don't know if it's working. But
no, the video's not working. Sorry.
That's okay. Is the sound working at least?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect.
If you wouldn't mind just stating your name and your address as well, please.
Sure. It's Erin Leary, 544 High Street, Fall River.
And would you mind explaining what you're doing in terms of the repair?
Sure. Just to recap, thanks for the intro. I did file for the certificate of non-applicability to append to my building permit. Did sustain damages, including blown out windows, some clapboard damage, some architectural feature damage in window keys, a couple of corbels, the PVC around the porch, the round porch melted, so we're replacing that. So both fire damage, and then in my building application, I did put in a few things that weren't touched by fire, like the newel posts on my front porch. Those seem to be rotted. So we'll be replacing everything in kind per historic standards. I did have the corbels and the window keys and my brick and header molding. I've had that all milled. We had half of the batch in hand. Having some issues, country song, getting windows for the second floor. I did put in my building application. What I've narrowed it down to, we have an Anderson 400 series, which would be kind of a composite on the outside, wood on the inside. We have a let's see, the other one which I'm looking at now is Marvin Elevate windows. Again, it's a fiberglass or composite on the outside, and then wood on the inside. It will have the Muntin, the existing Muntin 1/0, right, for the divided glass, extruded. Right now I have vinyl, or I do have vinyl existing. The ones that were blown out were vinyl, so this is an upgrade to that. We have replaced the glass on the first floor that was blown out. So those original windows will and have remained on the first floor. So I could go into more detail, but I understand there are questions around materials, or I'm just happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Sure. Well, thank you. The composite, or at least the Anderson 400, I actually just recently saw a whole house worth of the Anderson 400s, and with the true divided lights, and I even from the exterior I really couldn't tell the difference. Everything was paintable, and I believe you can actually have it primed at the factory versus having it doing it yourself, but the whole inside and out is completely paintable. Do you know if you're going to be using for the glass, would it be a true divided light or a simulated divided?
So we actually Home Depot spec'd and sent the wrong windows. So I have some samples. They sent new construction windows instead of just the insert. So I'm currently trying to return those unsuccessfully thus far. So it's either that Anderson 400, which I do have in the house. I apologize if I'm not getting the spec correctly. So the Muntin is on the outside of both sides, and I believe there's a divider bar in between. So while it's not, I don't think it's two separate panes of glass on that upper level. It is separated, and it gives the bar in the middle gives a shadow effect. So it appears as though it's true divided. Same with the Marvin. The Marvin, I want to say it's Elevate, not Ultimate. It's the second to top tier of the Marvin window. I have the choice of bar or no bar in the middle for that shadow effect. So I'd like to hear your recommendations on that if you have experience with that as well.
Sure. Anyone have any questions or comments for Erin on the windows?
No, I'm excited for her to get this stuff done.
She's going to be the last thing, probably, those windows.
Yeah. Sorry, you mentioned something on the porch was PVC?
Yes. Yep. I want to say all of it on the rounded portion on the top around the roof, and then below the rounded portion, and then the lattice work was all PVC, which I contemplated replacing with wood, but we would have to take apart more of the porch than I really want to. And it's all ring shanked in, so it would be kind of a really rip it apart before we're able to put it back together for the wood. But we are replacing like for like. It is PVC, but we are going to paint it, so at least it won't look like it is now.
And it is a composite that we're allowing, so that's okay.
It's the for the PVC. I'm not getting terminology. It's the AZAC, I think. AZAC, and I believe the neighbors at 528 just put that in as well.
Yeah.
So we're replacing like for like.
Yeah. Again, I've been walking by there quite a bit. I'm watching your work, and I've also been watching Ruben. So I'm watching the progress, and it's looking good. And you guys are really doing a great job trying to keep the historic value of those properties. So thank you for that.
No, thank you for your oversight of the district. It certainly, I won't be bringing the property value down forever. We'll get there. I'm in a race with 528.
Yeah, I've been kind of unofficially supervising too, because I live right nearby and I walk by with my dogs all the time. And
nice.
I look forward to seeing what paint color you choose.
Oh, it's around the corner in the back. It's hidden. I used a lot of paint swatches. It's called Queen Anne Lilac. It's from the historic collection of that one's Sherwin-Williams. And we're doing a cloud cover, which we just started putting on today for the trim, which I was really excited about. No, not cloud cover, white dove. I'm sorry. And that is part of the Ben Moore Historic Collection. So very excited to have that done. But I'll wave next time I'm out there.
Yeah, if you see me with two crazy pit bulls, like, you know.
No, your application, everything was very detailed. Thank you very much with the list of everything that you're going to be doing to the house. I mean, it's unfortunate that it took a fire that was not even at your house for all this to happen. But yeah, no, I don't have any other questions on it.
No, none.
I make a motion to approve her request.
Okay, I'll second that.
Great. One moment. Rick. All right, I have a motion by Connie and a second by Rick to approve the request for 544 High Street. I'm going to get a roll call vote, please. Rick,
Yes,
Connie,
Yes.
Joyce,
yes,
Elizabeth,
Yes.
Jason Bouchard-Naraki, yes. Perfect. Aaron, I will send over the letter. Basically, the letter will be the certificate of, here we go again, non-applicability. There we go. So I will send that right over to you, and that will accompany your paperwork for the building permit and so forth.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. And you're all invited to the ribbon cutting.
Looking forward to it. If there's any questions you have at all, by all means, you have the email for the historical commission. So
Perfect. Thanks again, and thanks for the work you all do. Appreciate it.
okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Let's see. I have nothing for old business. And then anything open discussion wise?
Just that the recommended Ashley DeCunha, that is going to be in my opinion, a great asset to our team.
Mhm.
She's very knowledgeable. She's a wonderful person. I think this. I'm pleased with the recommendation from the mayor on this. Yeah.
Excellent.
But we're yet to interview, I guess, or meet her. So,
I don't
well,
know.
actually, she doesn't need that, I guess.
No,
as a
no, because
mayoral
it's
appointment. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's from the mayor's office.
Right.
It just has to, I believe it just has to get confirmed from city council.
Mm-hmm.
And city council, from my understanding, they don't have anyone in mind for their seat. But I did indicate, what we're looking for, who we're looking for. It would be great if we had somebody who was either an architect or it was in engineering or had, in some case, or in any case, has experience with historic buildings, with the whole 9 yards. And I did indicate that the work that we've done, we had the design guidelines, which was a huge project. We're working on expanding some historic districts in town with primarily downtown, which hopefully I should be able to shed or at least add some more information to that at the next meeting. So we've received some back and forth with the Mass Historical Commission regarding that, but they're aware that we're doing some big projects right now, and we have some ideas for down the line.
anything new on the ILGW tour?
I think we were going back and forth with regarding that, and it sounds like he had buildings already leased, and it was just a matter of getting us in a very short period of time before the last tenant moved in. So I don't think that unless something opens up in the future, I don't think we were able to secure that tour in a time for us to get together and see that, unfortunately. But I mean, that's good that he was able to lease that relatively quickly. And I believe that there's was it across the street when I say across the street, on Durfee Street, that building's also fully leased. And I think he's just starting rehab work on the the building on Troy Street. I can't remember the name of it.
It's the American Wallpaper building.
Yes, right next door. Yes, right next
Yeah,
door.
yeah.
The Merrill building, is that it?
You know, I believe you're right. Yeah, I believe it
Yeah.
is. Yes. Yeah.
So that was offices, and I believe they just started working on converting that into residential as well. So maybe we can get in there, because we did have to review paperwork, or what is it, the tax credit application for that. And that's the other thing too. We will have Ryan LLC back, I believe, at the next meeting, just for continued letters of support.
He was going to get us into a number of facilities. That was his down and out promise. That was 3 months ago. So again, there seems to be a real reluctance on their part. That organization seems to have a reluctance to show us what we're approving.
Yeah. And we should, I have a few other things I had to follow up on. I know the city should be presenting to us the cemetery board on the master plan for Oak Grove. They should have been presenting to us this month, but it sounds like there's been a delay, so potentially on August, because they need support from us before they go forward with that. But I'll ask. I'll send an email over to Tony Cordero again and see if there's any possibility that we can get into any of the properties that he has. Even if there's maybe like an apartment that might be turning over in the future, we would love to see the work that they've done. So I can ask him.
Yeah, it'd be nice. My main interest is when they rehab the apartments. Oh, they're going to modernize those. That's fine, but it's really nice to see the internal structures and what they do to the hallways and you know, the door frames and the window frames and the ceiling and the moldings and, you know, the things that are in there. The staircase, do they change those, or they leave the original open staircase in there with the banisters? And you know, it's nice to see that type of historic resemblance remain.
And because they receive tax credits, a lot of that, when they go through the Mass Historical Commission, they will do a whole walkthrough to see what historic resources are within the building. So if there's a good staircase, or if there's anything that they deem to be significant or value to the building, oftentimes those obviously have to get retained. But it is interesting to see how they retain them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So. Is there anything else regarding? Maybe next month we'll actually meet in person. So I think that's it. Let's see. So I think we're able to adjourn. It is 6:28 p.m.
Do you need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion to adjourn.
I have a motion by Rick, second by Connie to adjourn. It is 6:28 p.m. We will be meeting next on Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. Can I get a roll call vote, please? Rick?
Yes.
Connie?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
And Jason Bouchard-Naraki, yes. All right. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your days.
Okay.